not to be funny about.
Well, here we are. We're recording this podcast to go out later this evening. We know that there might be some things which may come up during the day, but nothing of any real importance. Statsman, okay, how was your weekend? Quickly.
It was interesting, shall we say?
I can say, if it wasn't for bad luck, I wouldn't have any luck.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was hinting at, to be honest. Yeah.
I think everybody would actually feel the same. No? Here we go. Good evening, everybody, even though it's morning.
Don't confuse everyone.
It's timelines. We're going out all over the world, so we don't care. It could be any time of the day or night, wherever we are. That's the kind of guys we are. Is that not right, sir?
Worldwide, baby.
Worldwide. Okay, here we go. Here's the man. Yeah, there he is. Yeah, cut that off straight away.
Chop it.
Chop it.
That's what we should be doing with...
Yeah. Yes, with certain
PDF
people.
files.
Yeah. I agree. Let's have a reflection quickly. Oh, to happier days. There you go. Look at them. Look at them.
Thought you were going to take me back to the 80s when you said happier days.
Oh, well, no, I go with that. Okay. All right. Once elected, the politicians promise, once elected, I'll be vegetarian, says the wolf to the sheep. Yeah, right. Okay. And the Keir Starmer modus operandi, promise everything, deliver nothing, and blame someone else. Okay.
He's running out of people to blame now, isn't he? I think, or the knives are out, aren't they?
Well, let's start off with something funny. I mean, obviously, Ricky is our first port of call. Here we go.
Of course, the word queer has changed. Again, traditionally, the word queer used to mean someone who was attracted to the same sex as themselves, a gay man. Right? Now, the word queer can mean a straight man who wants some attention. I'm all queer now. Yeah, I'm right queer now. Yeah. What about your girlfriend? Yeah, she's queer and all. We're just two queers queering each other out. Suck a cock? Nah. No, didn't think so. I'm not that sort of queer. What sort of a queer are you? Dyed my hair blue. So did my grandmother, and she fucking loved cock, so... what are we saying?
That's disgusting.
I promised you more about China, and this is an amazing statistic, okay? This is true, look at that, right? In China, there are 10 million Chinese paedophiles. 10 million Chinese paedophiles in China, and there's not enough kids. Because they've been restricting the birth. There's all these poor pedos, and they're going, where's all the fucking kids? You know, fuck me, we're having to double up here, and... I just thought of a joke then, I can't do it. It is actually too offensive. Okay. All right, I'll do it. But remember, you can't choose your own thoughts, okay? And I just had this thought, right? Chinese paedophile goes up to a little Chinese kid and he goes, do you want a puppy? And the kid goes, I'm not hungry. You made me do that. You committed the hate crime. When I left school, my best mate was a bloke called Mark.
Oh,
right?
my
We did everything together.
God.
We took a year out before we went to college to earn money to get pissed, really. And we did. It was the best summer ever. And but then something happened. His grandmother died, and he lived with her, so it was a big deal. And he went to the funeral, and the first place he came after the funeral was my house. He sat down in his little black suit, and it was just quite, I didn't know what to say. No hugging, right? So I just went, how was it? He went, it was awful. He said, she was cremated, and we all went outside to watch the smoke go up, and the wind changed, and it all blew in our faces, right? And I went, what, in your mouth? And he went, yeah. I went, I took a chance. I said, did it taste bitter? And he went, yeah. I went, that was her clitoris. And Mark just went, fucking hell, Rick. All right. And then he started laughing. And we both, and that was our hug. Do you know?
He is so close to the bone, isn't he? In everything that he says, you know? Oh, my God. Anyway, okay. We know that the Greens are being rinsed.
Green rinse.
Green rinse. So all those people out there who support the Greens, check this out. Okay, and this is courtesy of Statsman. Here we go.
This town has been reported in the press as being divided. Can we just have a
Mark, just give us some context behind this. This is a meeting in Brighton, isn't it?
No, this is Crowborough.
Oh, Crowborough. Okay.
Crowborough. Easy for me to say. Yeah, is it East Sussex? Mm-hmm. Well, what's happened is there's been plans put forward to bring 600 migrants, to put them in an army camp, army training camp.
Uh-huh.
Now, obviously, the council were informed and told there'd be a public consultation. You know, it's going to go to the people first. But what's happened is the Home Office have just announced it, right?
What's up with you?
Home Office.
Home Office.
Home Office have announced it, right? And the people aren't very happy because they have literally had no say whatsoever. So there's been a protest and there's been a meeting with all the residents. So this is a little taster from the meeting.
Here we go.
show of hands and some noise in this room to prove that we are not divided about this issue?
No,
Just today, there was 3 people in Lewis Crown Court, all of whom were part of your asylum programme, and they brutally raped a woman on Brighton Beach on October the 4th. I do not want that in Crowborough, and I want your assurance that you'll take personal responsibility for anything that happens in this town as a result of what you're doing.
Obviously, you know the feeling in this room, Rachel and James. Now, you say that you are challenging it, you are taking legal advice, but you've actually been given the opportunity to join the legal proceedings that we are pursuing as a residents group, but you have declined to join. To make us stronger, having Wilden Town Council on board will strengthen our case no end. You have declined. Why?
We were advised against doing that, and I'm afraid I don't know why.
You don't know.
You can stop it there if you want, John.
So you don't know.
You can't believe that, can you? I don't know why. Or we don't know why.
That is staggering. Just for a bit of context, the guy who first spoke was Andrew Wilson. He's an independent councillor. Well, these two here on the stage. That guy's James Partridge. He's the leader of the council, and he's a Lib Dem.
Lib Dem, yeah.
And the one behind him, people might have seen her on the news over the weekend. She's Rachel Millward, and she's the deputy council leader, and she's from the Greens. So they're being asked basically by this lady Kim from Cobra Shield. That's a group trying to stand up to this planned dump of 600 migrants. Let me just say, the town's only 21,000 on the last census. Crowborough.
And that's a site that's literally could house 10,000 people.
Well, this is what I mean. This is all part of a bigger plan to house 10,000 migrants at 14 different sites. Before we move on, though, we've had 39,000 come over this year alone.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're telling me it's just going to be 14 sites? No, this issue is going to affect pretty much every town and city in the country at some point.
Yeah.
So what's happening here is this girl Kim, she's quizzing them on why they haven't joined their group and why they haven't took some of the legal measures.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Here we go.
Why, but you just said no without knowing why. Is that correct? Is that leadership?
We're getting legal advice from the King's Council.
As are we.
And we will therefore follow advice so that we give any case the best chance it has.
Okay.
So we're doing that on behalf of our residents.
You're doing it on behalf of your residents. Is that what you just said, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So, I mean, we have appointed King's Council and we managed to put in a letter before action within days. You're saying you're still contemplating. Why haven't you even put in a letter before action and to get disclosure, to get the documents? Why have you not done that yet? That doesn't mean you're actually taking legal action. That just means that you're getting the information to identify whether you can. So why have you not done that?
Wow, she's spot on.
We're taking the steps that we're taking.
Well, if I was you and I wouldn't have this conversation with the Home Office here, but if you want to, fine. But our advice is that if you send in a letter before action before the decision has been made.
The decision has been made. The action... No, they have said they haven't. They say they haven't. Their actions conclude that they have.
He doesn't know what's going on.
When was the decision made?
None of them do.
So, I don't know if you can hear me, but it sounds like it would be easier.
Hang on, Andrew has something to say. Sorry, Andrew, we can hear you now. Andrew?
It may well be that it is easier for us now to leave.
You can stop it there if you want, John. That's Andrew Larter. He's from the Home Office. So he sat there and listened to that. It was him. They were the ones who announced it before the town had even had a consultation. Not that these consultations matter the sausage, do they, John? Because we know this would have happened anyway, wouldn't it? So what they were arguing about there is they're saying, well, the decision hasn't been legally made. Well, it's all over the press and it was announced by the Home Office.
Absolutely.
I'd say they'd made their decision, don't you?
Yep.
I mean, you can always wait until they've moved all the migrants in, and then you've got an even harder job to get them out.
Yeah.
So it seems to me like the town of Crowborough is being absolutely shafted. The Home Office have given the council no say, the residents no say. In fact, the council seem like they're being advised to, well, basically shut the hell up for the sake of some more diversity, doesn't it, really?
Yeah.
I mean, I had to edit some of it out, mate, but I don't think they've got a clue what's going on, to be honest.
No. They're ignorant. Okay,
This is what you get with it. Go on.
These people, the people that are speaking from the audience, are far more knowledgeable than they are.
This seems to be the problem, and this is the problem when you've got I think it's 11 seats for the Greens and 11 for the Lib Dems, so it's kind of them running the council. Yeah. And this is what you've got, because there's no way they're going to stand up against this.
No.
They're making it sound like they do. This is for the residents. But you see the smug look on her face. These people are so, I don't know, condescending. They don't half look down on people.
Oh, they do. Because they think they're in control, but they're not.
Well, there was a video going around over the weekend with this Rachel Millward from the Greens, and I don't know what, is she stuck in the past? Has she live in a cave? She's like, oh no, we want these people to come over and we want them to bring their skills and integrate. Look, we've gone way beyond that. What decade are you in? Like, what retarded thinking is that, mate? We know that these people that are putting in these houses and these HMOs and these hotels and these barracks, they're not skilled at anything.
They're not. They're not doctors.
And we know some of them have been a danger to our children and women.
We don't know their criminal records because they throw them away. Here we go.
So more to this community.
We are indeed out of time. In fact, we're overrunning on time at this point.
Oh, that's a coincidence.
One more question is fine, but will you please show your appreciation to Andrew and to Lisa for being here?
That's what you think of the Home Office.
Okay, One final question, if we may. Thank you.
So just to conclude that one, then, it just appears to every person in this room that you're just running down the clock and not giving us a chance.
I'm running away.
So my second question is actually directly to you, Rachel. It does actually go to you as well, James. You did a video the other day, Rachel, saying that all of these people, you know, doctors and engineers and surgeons that are coming here, and we should give them the right to work. Now, firstly, engineers, doctors and surgeons do not come from France on a dinghy and throw their medical certificate overboard.
Quite right.
It's very clear to me that you really don't understand the small boat crisis. So therefore, I'm going to say, why don't you resign, both of you, and make way for someone who understands the crisis.
Look at her face. She's been cornered and she can't say anything.
It's not a joke, Rachel. I'm serious. You do not have the capabilities to do this. You don't understand the small boat crisis. Step down, both of you, and let someone else take lead and actually get us what we need and represent this community, because you don't.
Absolutely.
So,
look at that.
I appreciate your questions.
Look at that.
Do you know what? It's like the Keir Starmer thing. If that was me, John, I'd have been gone after that meeting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I'm not wanted here. I am not doing a good job. The whole room are just wanting me to leave.
Absolutely.
What's the point?
Yeah.
That's basically like your boss telling you're crap at your job. I think it's time you had a rethink.
Yeah,
Do you know what
absolutely.
I mean? Before you get the sack. This is coming to a town and city near everyone. 14 sites, 10,000. Well, you've got another 40,000 to home that have come in from this year. All right, even if you take that 10,000 off, you've got another 29,000 to home. Another 28 sites. Another 28 sites. Really? Okay. And then there's the rest of the year, and then there's next year, and then there's a year. But apparently Labour are going to stop all this.
Well, Mark, you've heard all of that. How do you sum all that up?
Again, we're being shafted. We're being flooded with this issue, and it's not going to go away. We've got to stop voting for these people. I know Reform are looking like the favourite in the general, but as you can tell from some of these local events, you've got to now get involved in local politics and get these people out locally. It's the only answer, John. You can't have the people like that, Rachel and that other fella, mate. You can't have the Greens and the Libs. They're not going to stop this.
They're full of it.
I've just said Labour say they're going to stop it, but I believe that when I see it as well. But
absolutely,
you've got to vote these people out at any cost. I mean, luckily in Crowborough they've got an independent guy there who looks like he's fighting this, and hopefully Reform or someone can come in and break the mould. It's got to be done locally now as well as nationally.
Here's some information which is going to help motivate everybody about these politicians. And it's information about MPs' income. Yeah.
What if I told you that for some members of Parliament, their £93,904 salary is just pocket money? Families are forced to choose between heating and eating. A select few in Westminster are quietly getting richer than ever, paid for by secret donors and big business. Today, we're following the money. The results are shocking. We'll expose the ex-ministers making a fortune, the new donors funding the Labour government. The revolving door millionaires. It's often said that the real money in politics is made after you leave high office. Top of the list is former Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. In just over 2 months, he declared a staggering £222,000. Wow. A single speaking engagement for an Indian media company earned him £141,000. But he isn't the only one. Reform UK leader Nigel Farage has turned his political brand into a media empire, pulling in over £189,000. Over £116,000 of that comes from GB News, and another £36,000 from the celebrity message site Cameo. The list goes on. Former Chancellor Jeremy Hunt declared over £56,000 from speaking fees, and former Attorney General Sir Geoffrey Cox earned £73,000 for his work as a barrister, including payments from the government of Mauritius, Labour's new rich friends. While former Tory ministers are cashing in, the data reveals a new trend for the party now in government. Meet Francesca Perrin. She made 2 donations of £50,000 each, one to the Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood, the other to the Health Secretary Wes Streeting. That's £100,000 from one person to 2 of the most powerful people in government.
Well, that's hedging your bets, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd be interested to try and work out what these people, if they got something in return, do you know what I mean?
Well,
what their agenda is and what these people started to push after this money was given.
Well, why would you spend your money if you're not going to get something in return?
Exactly. I mean, what did they say? Rishi just got 100 and something grand for the one speech in India.
Yeah,
that's staggering. I mean, that's going to be hard to stop, isn't it? I mean, more fool the person who paid that absolute dipshit all that money.
Oh, it was probably the government, and it was probably the public of India that paid it.
We used to do a little thing on Prime Minister's questions and stuff, didn't we? And like, to be honest with you, I couldn't bear listening to him speak, so I wouldn't be. You couldn't even pay me that money to listen to him.
Absolutely, no, I totally agree with you. Here we go.
Same time, the Chancellor, Rachel Reeves, accepted a £30,000 donation from Alison Wedgwood. Donations this large are about building relationships at the very top. It begs the question, what influence does this new money have on Labour policy? The hidden influence. It's not just about cash. Some of the biggest benefits are hidden in plain sight. Take Liberal Democrat Member of Parliament Charlie Maynard. He received benefits worth over £114,000, but none of it was cash. He got over £72,000 in free legal services from a top corporate law firm and free London accommodation for a year, valued at £42,000. And then there are the free trips. The most popular destination in this period? Israel. Conservative Friends of Israel spent over £22,000 sending 5 Conservative MPs on a fact-finding delegation. At the same time, the Taiwanese government spent over £17,000 flying 3 Tory MPs to Taipei. A new alliance on the left. But perhaps the most significant story is hidden in a single cryptic entry in the register. On July 31st, 2025, a new private company was registered, Your Party UK Limited. Its directors are a group of independent MPs, including former Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn, and others like Shaukat Adam and Ayub Khan. But here's the bombshell. Also listed as a director is Zara Sultana. Until just weeks before this company was formed, she was a prominent Labour MP on the party's left wing, having officially resigned her membership at the start of July. So what does this all tell us? We have a system where ex-ministers can leverage public service for private wealth, a Labour government funded by new millionaire donors, and a political system where influence is bought with everything from cash to 5-star trips. It leaves us with one simple question. Who are our MPs really working for? You, the voter, or the people who sign the cheques? Let me know what you think in the comments. If you found this investigation valuable, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and thank you to all our subscribers. What if I told you that for some...
There you go. Not a bad expose, to be honest with you.
Yeah, if you notice, the socialists love capitalism.
Oh God, they love the money.
They're the fakest socialists I've ever known. Honestly, what happened to everyone having the same? All this free stuff, and oh wow, honestly, they're just such hypocrites, mate. They can't even stand by their own morals.
Kind of makes you think, look at me, I'm trying to get my mic in the middle. There you go. It just
makes you wonder what they're banging. Oh my God, those Tories, those capitalists, oh my God, the sleaze. This lot are probably worse, if not at least the same.
They're full of it. There's no two ways about it. Everybody should just be waking up to see that these people are not in it for the people. They're in it for themselves. That's the truth of the matter. Okay?
I feel a new policy. Sorry to interrupt. For my remove party, I will remove donations. How about that?
Put that in on a new picture. I mean, because to be honest with you,
you raise the money. Or maybe I'd do it fairly. I was going to say I'd give each party some money,
Let's just say it. Look, there you are. There's your party. Deport. New way, old way, right? New political party policy, defend our waters, defend the borders. Okay.
Yes.
These are all your things here, right? Remove everything the Fabians and fake cons did to destroy the Constitution. Supreme Court, Quangos, get rid of them all. Okay?
Gone.
I'm telling you. You know? Revisit the social contract. These are all the things. These are so sensible. It's not funny. Okay? So, you know, we sit here and we go, okay? Anyway.
I've literally rewritten the whole constitution, mate. So it
You did.
literally traps everyone into the same thing
Absolutely.
where you work for the people. And if not, then, as I say, built-in accountability, you're all gone.
Well,
it won't be hard to get them into court.
Here's which way the I was going to say the BBC. I'm talking about the government are trying to make us go. And especially with the relationships that are going on with the Chinese. Check this out.
Zheng Dan co-developed the system. It took less than a year to get the first version up and running. Now she can monitor every resident from this office.
Wow.
我们排摸的这个就是整个小区里面的楼房的一些信息。
We've mapped the residential buildings in the district. Which ones are occupied? Where there are vacancies? Where elderly people are living alone? Where care or help is needed?
Do you notice they always emphasize, okay, the positive aspects of what they're doing in terms of trying to actually spy on you? It's just incredible.
I was just about to say the same. They make it sound so great, and you're thinking, hey, that's not a bad idea, is it? We know exactly who needs care. We can get it there as soon as possible. Yeah, but it doesn't end there, does it?
No, it doesn't. And this is the reason why.
It's all stored in our system and can be called up in real time.
那么这样的一些基本信息呢，也都在这个微平台上就可以实时调取出来。
Even those who do not dispose of their trash properly are recorded. Residents who aren't following the rules are captured on camera from 3 different angles.
Cheshire West would love that, wouldn't they?
Again, you can't argue with it up until this point. You're thinking, oh, that sounds all right,
The
doesn't it?
so-called brain acts swiftly. Whether it's an illegally parked car or unsolicited advertising, offences can be handled by patrol officers who are connected to the control centre via a mobile app.
There you go.
居村的干部或者是我们居村里面的志愿者发现问题。
As soon as the squads and volunteers in residential districts spot an issue, they can report it and upload footage. They take a photo, report the issue, and then our system automatically decides which department to forward the matter to.
AI.
The AI department do we send around?
The brain in Shanghai's Pudong district is just one component to the overarching surveillance plan the Chinese government is pushing across the country. The goal is to have complete coverage in all major public places, such as train stations, street intersections, and parks.
And your own bathroom, eventually.
China's state media boasts that
You will only be allowed to go to the toilet twice a day. Well, that's not going to do me any good.
police can identify every single person on the street in just 1 second.
Now, they can identify the culprit that works against their system within. That is just, you know.
It's a dystopian nightmare, this, John, isn't it?
Oh, that's just now you've literally you're seeing that the case against the Chinese spies that we recently covered dismissed. The Chinese embassy, which is so close to certain data lines, okayed. This government is looking to control the people of this country. There is no two ways about it. That's what they're up to. They want control. Now, I don't know what people like Shabana Mahmood are doing, whether they're trying to attract people in under a misconception. But, okay, if you think about it, this is where we're heading. And the people of this country have got to actually understand that they are about to be suppressed, oppressed, repressed, and depressed, in my opinion.
This makes the Great Panic of 2020 look like a picnic, doesn't it? This is like that on steroids. If this is how they'll spy on their own citizens, their own people, think what they'll do to us.
Correct.
Chinese.
Yeah.
And then you're thinking, two-tier Kieran would love this, wouldn't he? He'd know exactly which far-right racist bigots he could cancel.
Indeed.
It wouldn't last, honest to God, mate. And then obviously, like in China, they'd implement the social credit system.
Correct.
So is it going to get to a point where if you slag off the mine Starmer, you don't eat? Because they'd happily see you in jail. They'd happily see us all dead. So stopping them from starving us for bad behaviour.
Indeed.
I tell you, it might sound out there, but I'm telling you now.
That's what they're looking at. Okay, I wouldn't trust a single Labour politician. I wouldn't trust any Conservative politician. I don't care what they say. I wouldn't trust any glib dumb either. All right, with everything that they're doing. But anyway, we're going to be moving on because we're moving on. It's going to be quite a long one, this one, but it doesn't matter. Okay, here's Khan being rinsed by Susan Hall at Mayor's Questions. And you're going to love this. You're going to love this.
Again.
Stats. Yeah.
Mayor Khan, everybody knows what I was talking about, except you, it would appear. So, Mayor Khan, in January, I asked if we had grooming gangs in London. You dismissed my question by saying you didn't know what I meant. So would you like to apologise to all those victims of the rape gangs that actually saw you dismiss this?
Correct.
Well, Chair, I'd like to begin these topics by always thinking about the victims and survivors who've been treated appallingly over many, many years, particularly in the northern towns. And I've led a...
Have you seen that his whole demeanour, everything is cowed? He knows he's in the wrong. It's just everything about him is weak because he's been cornered.
Efforts to strengthen the protection of children and those women exploited by abuse and exploitation.
Yeah. Can you just issue an apology to those rape victims that have since phoned me? I mean, I can't tell you how many people have contacted me. Would you just like to apologise to them for pretending you didn't know what these rape gangs were?
It is really important. We're talking about an incredibly serious and emotive issue to actually clarify what is meant when it comes to grooming gangs, or in the words of the member, rape gangs. There are a number of things that are meant by this. They include intrafamilial abuse. They include peer-on-peer abuse.
Okay, you're not doing yourself any favours here, Mayor Khan. Everybody knows what I was talking about, except you, it would appear. And since you're the Police and Crime Commission, that's very embarrassing for you.
There you go. Okay, now, all right, here's another example of him being rinsed on crime. And these guys are calling it now. And everybody has got to be understanding that this is true now.
It's been like this for 10 years, mate, and people are still voting him in. Well, that's what they're telling us anyway.
A small percentage of people are voting him in because the rest of the majority, and I'm calling them out and I'm saying to them, get off your lazy backsides and get out and vote. It's got to happen now. There's no use moaning about it. Here is Khan being rinsed on crime.
It's just a joke, isn't he?
You sit there with a straight face and say crime is down. Since you became mayor in 2016, knife crime has gone up by 27%. Violence against a person has increased by 26%. Robbery has increased by 57%. Theft has increased by 37%. Shoplifting has increased by 109%. Sexual offences have increased by 64%. All crime since you, Sadiq Khan, became Mayor of London have increased by 26%. Don't Londoners deserve the truth about the state of crime in the capital from you?
Watch what he says now. This is interesting.
With the list that was read out, theft from motor vehicle down by 18%.
Over what date range? Over what date range? Over what date range? Over what date range? Since you became...
He's pinning him down because he's trying to actually put positives forward, which actually are not relevant.
Mayor of London, over what date range?
Over the last 9 years.
Not the last month, the last 9 years. I know you don't like the truth, but apologise to Londoners over your tenure that you have allowed crime to skyrocket.
There you go. All right. Now, you know, it's now coming to the point where people don't give a shit on how these people react. They're actually calling it out, and they don't give a crap. Okay? Sadiq Khan is the worst thing that could have happened to London, for Londoners going. He doesn't represent the majority. He represents a minority of people, and that's who voted him in. Now, they've only got themselves to blame because they haven't come out and voted properly and actually said, oh, God, I couldn't be bothered, you know, and all the rest of that stuff. Well,
it's pure deflection, John. It's like someone saying, Sadiq, you've just burnt my house down. He's like, yeah, I know, but I mowed your lawn before I left. And it's like...
Exactly.
Just piss off, mate. It's just... Again, we need to look at this minority voting. This people.
There's something dodgy. There's something dodgy about the voting in London. There's something not quite right.
I mean, there's probably going to be a lot of people who, for a lot of different reasons, don't vote.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was never in favour of making it compulsory to vote.
Yeah.
Because God knows what outcome you're going to get. I don't know, mate. Maybe it's time to do something because we can't keep like this government on a minority and him on it. It's just being led by people who no one wants. But then again, if they don't want them, you'd vote them out, wouldn't you? So,
indeed,
they've only got themselves. I don't know. Maybe stretch it out to the whole country to vote for the mayor of London. But
here's Mark Rowley being rinsed for wasting public money by the same group of people at Mayor's Questions. Here we go.
You've made no secret of the fact you think people should be giving you more money, governments, and probably anyone else who's got any. £90 million was spent on the command and control IT project, which was effectively then binned and started again. That's £90 million of tough choices that are not caused by politicians not giving...
£90 million. Like that.
Ah, well, bin it. Rubbish.
Bin it.
It's all like all the buildings they build around here for the council. New building. Get rid of it. I'll have another one in 3 or 4 years.
Correct. Correct.
Enough money, but by the Met Police failing to spend the money that you've got.
You're not exactly comparing life with life. The savings we're making now are recurring savings every year. You're talking about a one-off capital spend.
Why would anybody put their faith in this kind of beta male?
He's a proper wet wipe, him, isn't he, John?
He is a wet wipe. There is absolutely no doubt about it. Why would anybody put their faith in him? How has this guy... probably through the Peter principle, you know, got in. I mean, this guy should never, ever have been, you know, the police commissioner for the Met, the top guy in the country. Never, ever.
No. I've got a feeling, John.
But the Met doesn't have...
Sorry, you were going to say?
I've got a feeling he just got pulled off the beat within a very short space of time because he was absolute garbage. And had no testicles, and then was shoved in.
Could you imagine that guy being in any kind of a confrontation, at all, and saying, stop, or I'll tell you to stop again. Absolute wet wipe. There's no two ways about it. Why are we appointing these kind of people into positions of power? It's just ridiculous. I'm going to carry on.
Capital funding, all of your capital is funded from revenue. So I appreciate it's a one-off, but 90 million quid is a lot of years of front counters, isn't it?
And as I said earlier, a lot of it's funding from borrowing, which then has a long-term tail on revenue. Exactly fair point. Our command and control system is an adaptation of a 1970s baggage handling system.
Okay, we can accept that.
The number of people who can still program in that computer language in the world is ever decreasing. Replacing it, when you've got an old piece of machinery that's been infinitely tailored.
What are you talking about?
Forgive me, Commissioner, you appreciate time is short. I'm not arguing you shouldn't replace it. I'm arguing you shouldn't have wasted 90 million quid, binned it and started again.
It's a complex thing to replace. That programme was run and the supplier, there was a view the suppliers were failing, there was a dispute, the contract was ended, the legal dispute was settled, and we started again and we're working our way through.
How much did it cost us for the legal dispute?
I'm not saying the money wasn't wasted, it's unfortunate.
Well, if you forgive me, I mean, you're just sort of implying it might be a one-off, but there's the Connect system, which was supposed to cost 171 million, which overspent by 163 million, bringing the total between those two projects of 253 million pounds wasted. That's a lot of tough choices in those two projects.
Yeah, public sector IT programmes are a massive challenge. I don't argue with your numbers. It's disappointing.
There you go. There you go. He doesn't argue with the numbers. He's just admitted that he's wasted the money
on the initial planned budget. But as time goes on, scope changes. There are new functionality that's required, and that does affect these programmes.
I'm out of time. I think we'll continue to look at this on the Budget and Performance Committee. It's a big problem.
There you go.
We need some kind of Doge thing going on, because we can safely say that our police crime commissioner from a few years back, he wasted about $500,000 taking one of the chief constables to court.
Yep.
$500,000. So therefore we can rack up there just between them two, just off the top of our heads, we can just come up with 750 million.
Yep.
If you went round every area in the country and checked all this out, you're going to find pure money wasted.
Absolutely.
So it might be a little bit in one area, a little bit in another. Well, if you can call 90 million a little bit, I mean, in the great scheme of things, it probably is, isn't it, for the budget of...
I know, but 90 million, if you consider what that can be spent on and keeping police office desks, front desks, open for people to come in and go complain or to actually report things.
It's just money. I mean, we give money to France non-stop for nothing. Honestly, we should work all this out one day, exactly all this wastage, and you're going to find... I was going to say billions.
Oh, they are complete and utter, right, wasters. There's no two ways about it. I was going to say arseholes, but, that's the reason why we're getting shadow banned on X, okay, because we're saying nasty things about the left.
But the bonkers, though, mate, it's like, again, I'm going to repeat this, they're all going about how socialist they are. Yeah, they just spaff your money up the wall like it doesn't matter. Those greedy capitalists, all those rich people. They're the rich people who give people jobs and keep the economy going.
Correct.
They actually make us money, but you want to attack them and tax them to the hilt. Yeah, you'll take that money and just piss it up the wall, yeah. Oh, you just such hypocrites, these. I just can't.
Well, we're going to move on to Trump, okay, and the BBC. And here's Trump ripping into Starmer. Now, I've got a feeling that this is AI.
Go on.
I think it is.
Something to say to the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Keir Starmer. A lot of people are talking, they're saying he's spending more time talking about the world than fixing his own country. And I've seen it, total disaster over there. The economy, not good. Borders, wide open. Energy, windmills everywhere, doing nothing.
AI, it's
and yet he's out there making speeches about the world's problems. Let me tell you something, Starmer. Worry about your country first, because Britain, the United Kingdom, it used to be strong and powerful, but now it's turning into a mess. People are paying too much. Crime is up, the boats keep coming, and Starmer, you're too busy trying to look important on the world stage.
Which is true.
Focus on your borders, focus on your jobs, focus on your people. That's what a real leader does. If I were you, I'd stop playing globalist games and start cleaning up London. Because right now, the people of the UK deserve better. Much better.
Yeah, I've had a little play around with Trump and AI, haven't I, before? Yeah.
It's got to be.
Yeah, it is.
It's got to be AI. But hey, you know, that AI is actually telling people what everybody wants to hear.
He's probably saying that in the background, but I just don't think Trump would come out and say... He doesn't even say that about Putin. He doesn't really say that about the Chinese. He's quite diplomatic because he wants deals done, doesn't he? But
well, you know, he's got problems on his own country. I mean, here's an issue that he's got with Antifa.
We've got one of them too.
Hating people. This is organized. They're committing acts of political terrorism on American soil. And it's time we had a government that looked out for the American people rather than the people who are committing violence against the American people.
When you go out to Portland and you see what's happening in Portland, this is like nobody's ever seen anything like it. Every night, and this has gone on for years, they just burn the place down. And, you know, the shop owners, most of them have left. But the few shops that are open, they just use plywood and just like 3/4-inch plywood. They don't put storefronts because they know it's going to be burned down. These are professional agitators.
Right.
These are bad people, and they're paid a lot of money by rich people, some of whom we know. I'm sure I know some. I don't. If I knew, I wouldn't associate because I'll be in trouble because Pam will say, "Why are you associating with this person?" But I will tell you that these are bad people, and they're paying a lot of money, millions of dollars. But take a look at Portland sometime. These are crazy people, and they're trying to burn down buildings, including federal buildings. And on my list of things that I want to do before we finish up with the cities, because I think we're going to whip the cities back into shape, and we have to. We cannot let our cities, and that's a small example, but it's the most violent example. It's every night, and they've done it for years. You think maybe at some point they made their point, and what are they doing? But we're going to get out there, and we're going to do a pretty big number of those people in Portland that are doing that. They're professional agitators and anarchists.
Okay. That's what we got in this country, Mark.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to call. I like Trump, but I have to call him out a tiny little bit, John, because he's exaggerating the whole Portland thing a little bit. They're not burning everything. I've been following this for months, mate. They're not burning everything down. It's mostly protesting outside the ICE facilities. Yeah, it is kicking off a little bit, but he's making it sound a little bit worse than it is. But they have done stuff like this in the past. They definitely do it in France, in Paris, Antifa. They just burn everything over there. So
yeah,
I mean, he's got a point. They are bad, but he's exaggerated that a little bit. Bless him.
Okay, well, here's Bev Turner interviewing him. And you'll like this, I'm pretty sure.
Now, unfortunately, even though there are so many topics we could talk about, we have to tackle the issue of the BBC and this defamation case. Can I just ask you, how did you feel when you were first shown the footage or told about this edit, which the BBC say is unintentional to depict you in that way? But how do you feel about it?
Do they say it's unintentional? Well, then they're stupid to say that. You know, they wrote me a letter of apology, as you know.
How was it?
But then it's fine, but what is it?
Yeah.
It's fine. They wrote me a nice letter. We apologize. But when you say it's unintentional, I guess if it's unintentional, you don't apologize, right? You know, I made a beautiful statement, and they made it into a not beautiful statement. And now I hear, just before this interview, I was told, somebody said, "So you were not going to believe it. BBC did it again. They found another place, I think in a totally different..."
On Newsnight.
Yeah, totally different place. You know, the word fake is one thing, but this is beyond fake. This is corrupt, what they did. So, no, you know, the lawyers walked in and said, "Sir, you're not going to believe this." And they showed, I didn't hear about it. My lawyers walked in and they just said, you know, they're White House lawyers, they're government lawyers actually, and they walked in and they said, "Sir, you're not going to believe this." I said, "What is it?" And they show me the one, and then they show me the other. And it's not even close, you know, it's different words. It looks like actually the same mouth movement. Who would be able to even find this? Somebody did an amazing job to be able to
but it's a totally different meaning and totally different words.
They'd clipped together, hadn't they, two parts of the speech that were nearly an hour apart.
It's incredible.
To depict the idea that you had given this aggressive speech which led to this riot.
And one making you into a bad guy, and the other one was, you know, my statement was a very calming statement. It's pretty incredible. I mean, I couldn't believe it, actually. I've been doing this for a long time. I've never seen anything like that. That's the...
He hasn't seen anything like that. Well, you know, maybe.
I've seen way worse, but...
Way worse, yeah. I was just about to say, right, now, you know, so you can see which way this is being shaped. And he does have credibility and merit in the argument.
See, I'd concentrate on if it was some error of judgment, a mistake, as they say, then how did they we've done a bit of editing, haven't we? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They did it so well that you couldn't even really tell unless you paid attention.
That
it wasn't the same.
Exactly.
You'd think it was all one statement. It wasn't like there was a jump cut or there was a fade. There was no transition. It was so carefully done that it looked like it was all one thing. That can only be done on deliberately.
Correct.
It can't be done by
There's no two ways about it. You know, it has to be that way. There's just no other way about it. So they were trying to disrupt. And to say that the BBC do not have any form of influence over American audiences, that's another falsehood. Okay? The truth is that they do. And people can view the BBC over in America. It's as simple as that. So, you know...
Well, as we said, John, how many American citizens are in this country who were able to vote? Were they trying to sway them?
Indeed.
You can still... I was unsure whether they'd be able to prove if it tried to influence an election, but look, if you tried to influence one voter, and you've got a plan to right, haven't you?
We're going to move on, and this is a spoof advert for the BBC. You'll like this, sir. I'm absolutely certain of it.
Welcome to the BBC, where even if there isn't any news, we'll just make it up.
We promise to keep bringing you the most historically accurate dramas.
Make sure you pay your licence fee, otherwise there will be serious consequences.
At the BBC, we like to make speeches more interesting. That's why we edit different parts of them together.
BBC, bringing you shows you don't want under financial duress.
That's brilliant. Under financial duress. Okay? Now, here's a more serious part. And I know this is going to be a longer podcast than we normally do. Okay? But here's the Jewish people actually against the BBC. Okay, Mark, so we've just seen that spoof advert for the BBC. Here's Liz Truss, and this is what she's got to say on the matter.
There are lots of people in Britain who are cheering President Trump on and who want him to sue the BBC because they're a huge problem. They've lied, they've cheated, they've fiddled with footage, both in the case of President Trump, but also covering up what's happening in Britain, whether it's mass migration, whether it's our economic problems. They are always biased towards the left, and the British taxpayer has had to pay for all of this fake news. So there is a lot of excitement amongst Conservatives in Britain at the moment that President Trump is actually taking the BBC on.
Do you think an apology from the BBC is enough?
No, I don't, because they keep doing it again and again. They have painted a completely false...
It's not just against Trump. It's against a lot of the other issues that are going on. And to be honest with you, here's a representative of the Jewish communities in this country, and this guy is running a campaign, and this is what he's got to say about the BBC.
But in your statement today, you singled out the BBC.
and in your statement you said it's the bias and moral collapse of the broadcaster that has essentially turned them into spokespeople for Hamas.
Correct.
You can't seriously think that the BBC is a mouthpiece for Hamas.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I do, and it's not just me. We do polling of the Jewish community, and over 92% now of British Jews feel that the BBC's coverage of matters of Jewish interest is unfavourable. But on the Hamas
Gideon
point specifically,
Falter.
first of all, the BBC can't bring itself to call Hamas a terrorist organisation. Secondly, we've had the BBC actually sending money.
But we don't label certain groups. We've never done that. The policy goes back decades. It was.
Wait a minute. Is Hamas a terrorist organisation, Mark?
Depends what your definition of terrorist is, but I'd say they were murderous jihadis. So, yeah,
I think they have been,
I'd say so.
Ratified as a terrorist organisation. So this guy is right. Okay, he's got a point.
Did they want to change things politically via what they did on October the 7th? Because I'd say that's probably the classic definition of terrorism, to be honest. But
yeah. And then we've got
another man's freedom fighter, isn't it, with these crackpots? So,
and we got all these stupid left-wing people in this country, Palestine Action Group.
One thing I notice is when the BBC always talk about themselves as if they're in the third person when they've done something wrong. Have you noticed?
Yeah.
Like I asked my son, I said, "You have the BBC, you're in school, aren't they, on all your stuff? It's non-stop links to this and that and the other." I said, "Did he tell you what they did to Trump?" And he was like, "Yeah, they did actually on Newsround." I was like, "Well, that surprised me," but obviously, he was confused because they were talking about themselves as if they weren't the BBC.
Correct. Well, I'll let this guy go on a little bit longer, and then you can understand. I mean, I'm a Christian, but I do empathize completely with these people. Completely.
Same with the IRA. It was the same with the Taliban. It's not specific to Hamas.
The thing is that you're happy to call Jihad al-Shami a terrorist, and the terror attack in Manchester yesterday.
It's not part of a group.
But Hamas is an organisation which is genocidal in its.
Say again, Mark.
He's literally arguing against them, isn't he?
Yep.
Like, no. Because so you're only a terrorist if you're on your own? Okay.
Yeah. BBC are so full of it. It's just,
I mean,
they're so entitled. It's just unbelievable.
In the Hadith, Muhammad, the Prophet of Islam, is quoted as saying, "I have been made victorious through terror." So, they all follow him. So, just anyway, BBC, keep on digging.
Intention to kill all Jews. It says there in its charter that it wants.
I'm not saying we haven't got things wrong in the 2 years that we've covered this war. We certainly have, and some of it.
Oh, I'm not saying we haven't got anything wrong. Okay, so there's a cop out. We have got things wrong, but
just not this.
Just not this.
It's been damaging, and some of it we've owned. But it's perfectly reasonable and appropriate for the BBC to report and investigate how Israel conducts the war and whether that response
is proportionate. But that's not what's going on here. With respect, we're talking about if there is a murder, you will refer to the murderer as a murderer. If Hamas is a terrorist organisation which deploys medieval methods of terrorism, then they should be described as a terrorist. And it's not just that. As you know, a BBC investigation has found that the BBC itself, and the BBC had to admit this, the BBC itself has sent money to the family of a Hamas official. The BBC broadcast...
Yeah, but I must also emphasise that there are constraints on the BBC.
When you have people on the stage at Glastonbury calling for death and...
And I said there were mistakes and we've owned them and they have been damaging, but I must also...
They've owned them. Have they really? Have they really owned them? What have they owned? They just said, yeah, we made a mistake. Okay, thank you. Now, move on.
Yeah, but it's mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake. I mean, look, years ago, they reported a Syrian dies in an explosion in Germany. Well, he would do, John, if he was a suicide bomber who blew himself up.
Yeah.
The way they just lie by omission is disgraceful. So it's you've done all these things wrong, but it's fine.
I think this guy has got a massive, massive point to make. And, you know, he's representing Jewish communities in this country. Now, I've got no problem with Jewish communities, okay? None whatsoever. I've got no problem with any other communities except the Muslim who actually support Islamic extremists and the takeover of this country. And the BBC is not reflecting it. Now, the problem that they've got is if Shabana Mahmood is true to her word, how are the BBC going to correlate with her actions? Because most of these people are coming over are Muslims. And as far as we know, they are Muslim extremists who think that they can just rape and pillage at their will. So how are the BBC going to correlate that?
Are they going to call Shabana Mahmood and Labour far right? Well, why not? Look, your throne backbenchers are literally calling what she's going to be coming out with some proposals.
With these proposals. Right, well,
and their backbenchers are basically calling a reform. So what will the BBC do? They've got a conundrum in, haven't they? Now, do they side with the Labour backbenchers, or do they just report on what she's doing and sit on the fence?
well, this is the only guy of colour that I would actually listen to, okay, on TV, and he's one of the best that they've got in Sky, and it's Trevor Phillips.
The undoubted star of today's show was the Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood. And she came in with stuff she wanted to say. A couple of things about that interview. First of all, it was longer than our normal interview, something like 20 minutes. And that speaks of a politician who is confident, because most politicians don't want to do anything that long in case they make a mistake. She's trying to take Labour into a new place where it's tougher, particularly on this issue of migration. And the symbol for that is that they're adopting this Danish policy. Now, the part of the policy that is dealing with, for example, the length of time you have to be in England or in Britain before you can apply for indefinite leave to remain.
Did you notice that Freudian moment when he said, in England?
It's mostly affecting England, though, isn't it?
That's right. That's right.
Look, yeah, she's acting tough so she can get on with her job. But I'm afraid, love, you're surrounded by literal drippy woke tards who aren't going to implement none of your bollocks. So,
well, that's carry on, Trevor. Well, we got further explanations of that.
That's going to be, I think, shocking enough to a lot of Labour people. I think Shabana Mahmood still has some surprises for us. I think we expect to see quite a lot more of her over the next couple of years.
We have to.
Certainly as Home Secretary, and who knows, as something even higher.
Right. Okay. So, okay. The first dedicated Muslim as Prime Minister of this country. I don't think America's going to go for that, but here you go. All right.
England's going to go for that, John.
Mahmood on the BBC with explanations given.
Interesting.
What the new reforms will do is change that generation assumption that sanctuary provided to refugees can very quickly lead to settlement and all of the rights that go alongside that. We will be changing a more temporary process and...
Big shift in the UK's asylum system, a 20-year wait, temporary status and major political backlash. Here's the full breakdown. Guideline safe. The government plans to replace long-term security with a much tougher system. People granted asylum would no longer move toward quick permanent settlement. Instead, they'd wait up to 20 years under regularly reviewed status.
Brilliant.
According to BBC News, refugee status will be reviewed repeatedly, and if someone's home country is later considered safe, they may be required to return. And Reuters reports that Britain will now treat refugee protection as temporary rather than a step toward permanent residency. Supporters say the current system is overwhelmed and needs strict controls. Critics argue the new plan creates long-term uncertainty for people fleeing danger and could spark deeper political and legal battles.
There you go. Okay.
There's a few other things just been reported on this morning.
Go ahead.
Well, I think this one was over the weekend as well. Obviously, they're going to try and get the judges to interpret things our way. Sorry, that's nothing new. The fake Conservatives tried that and it didn't work. Listen to this. Up deportations. Yeah, sorry, guys, but you've literally failed for the last year and a half or whatever, so don't believe on that one. Now, this is interesting. Strip them of the assets, literally jewellery, any possessions to pay for their housing. Really? You think the drippy lefties are going to go with that one, Shabana? No. Oh, this is going to be so interesting to watch them tear each other apart after this later on.
Well, it kind of makes me, think. Okay, I mean, this is a funny. Okay, this is a woke baby funny. Okay, complaining about being offended by everything. I mean, check this out.
What are you most good at?
Probably being offended at fucking everything.
That's what I think, and here's another one.
So what's tonight's plan then?
Probably whine about the Middle East, then call everyone a fucking racist for no reason.
Okay, now, here's what we call a sensible kid baby joke, okay? Complaining about school.
Ben, are you excited for school?
Not really. The teacher keeps trying to teach me about India and culture, mate.
Ben, why are you in time out?
All I said was I'm proud to be British.
Ben, why aren't you doing your schoolwork?
Because it's all about pronouns.
Ben, why aren't you allowed outside?
Because Labour put an illegal hotel just round the corner.
Ben, how was assembly?
Terrible. We had another pronoun sensitivity assembly.
Ben, what's for lunch?
All they sell is curry now, thanks to Labour and the illegals.
Ben, why are you being sent home?
Because I criticised Labour.
Ben, who's picking you up from school? Mum or Dad?
Mum, because Dad's in jail for racist tweets.
Okay, and here's the final baby woke that everybody can actually... I'm telling you, this is just...
It's going to be acting like
Get
this.
the fuck out of Britain, mate. Call me in 2029 when Labour's out.
Did you hear that?
Getting the fuck out of Britain, mate. Call me in 2029 when Labour's out.
That's it. Okay, so that kind of states, everything. So, okay.
We may laugh, John, but it's kind of real, all that, isn't it?
Indeed. Well, let's finish on the BBC, and this is one of the memes, the AI memes that was put out. BBC fake news NVID. We gave a little bit of it, to it, but let's go out on it.
I suppose we'll come back to Shabana's antics.
Indeed.
Today, maybe tomorrow or Wednesday or whatever, and then we'll
see what goes on.
See what surprise she's got in store, which she's never going to uphold. But anyway.
Firstly, thank you very much to you, sir, for your time. Thank you very much to our U.S. listeners, to our Canadian listeners, and thank you very much to our British listeners. I was going to say literers.
You've got cats on the brain, haven't you?
Oh, don't talk to me about cats, okay? I'm absolutely sick of them. 9 of them. Anyway, here's the BBC fake news and NVID. You'll love this.
Auntie's gone party, shoving woke down our throats. Hugh Edwards paid teens for his dodgy phone notes. Suspended on wages, 6 months sipping tea. B-Brass just shrugged. That's the BBC. Fake news BBC, what a load of old cobblers. Woke warriors wittering, turning hustle gobblers. 118 quid for this rot. Stuffed by the beeb, now it's tied in a knot. Panorama's Trump edit stitch speech like a hack. Davy and Turners quit, finally the sack. Faulty towers faded, no Basil's mad rants. Officers or awkward Brits swap for woke transplants. Fake news BBC, what a load of old cobblers. Woke warriors wittering, turning us all gobblers. License fee fleecing for Savile's dark shade. Jim will fix its ghost in the credits still play. Ponces and pinstripes preach from on high. Scandals get buried, no questions why. From Hughes' hush money to Trump's twisted quote. Auntie's the auntie that sunk her own boat. Doctor Who's all skirts, no blokes in the box. History's rewritten by woke culture jocks. Flog it, flog shame for the empire's old crown. Pay up all the vans coming round to your town. Fake news BBC, what a load of old cobblers. Woke warriors wittering, turning us all gobblers. 180 quid for bake-off's cake. Truth on the telly, don't make that mistake. Fake news BBC, what a load of old cobblers. Woke warriors wittering, turning us all gobblers. Smash the damn telly, dodge the woke upper class. Aunties kaput, stick the fee up your ass.
Quentin Wilson, he's a great guy.
Fake news BBC, what a load of old cobblers. Woke warriors wittering, turning us all gobblers. Lincoln finally gone, what a douchebag he is. Off elsewhere talking crap, talking piss. Fake news BBC, what a load of old cobblers. Woke warriors wittering, turning us all gobblers. Smash the damn telly, dodge the woke upper class. Aunties kaput, stick the fee up your ass.
I like that.
I used to like the BBC as well once. Not anymore.